Chris, I got a problem. I lost a sigh.
All right, don't panic. Where'd you leave it?
In your neighbor's chest.
Again? I'll get the shovel. Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and today we are watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the year 1990. So, Bill, what do you think of this movie?
Even after all these years, I still love this movie.
I love it too. It's such a movie that's like ingrained in my mind. Like, not as much as your mind apparently, but like enough that like anytime I think of the Ninja Turtles, I think of their voices from this movie.
Awesome! Righteous! Bossa Nova! What? Damn!
Every time I think of Splinter, I think of this voice from this movie.
You must strike hard and fade away without a trace.
This is like the default Ninja Turtles to me in some ways.
It's still the best movie from this franchise, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah?
Nothing's even come close.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of crazy because, you know, I don't know as much about the development of the movie, but I know it was like an independently developed movie.
Yes, because back in the day, despite the Ninja Turtles being this white-hot, super popular thing, nobody wanted to do this movie. Nobody. Partially because maybe the Masters of the Universe movie was bad and flopped, even though it was like, that movie came out like too late, and it was bad.
Yeah.
This was like the peak popularity of Ninja Turtles, especially at the time. It's unheard of this day and age. You got a popular thing, exploit for money.
Yeah.
And though honestly, it's for the best.
Yeah.
Because this movie is as solid as it is, because at least from the early goings before they got distribution and stuff, they got to do it more like the comic and not the cartoon. They took a couple things from the cartoon, but they're like, no, we're following the comics.
It is kind of incredible that they literally just made the comic, more or less. Like, there are some differences, but, like, it is just, like, straight up, like, what are we making for this movie? This is like the comic book.
Exactly. Like, they take elements from the first issue, the second issue, the third issue, the Raphael one-shot that introduced Casey Jones, the Leonardo one-shot, issue 10 and issue 11, and the Return to New York story, and they just made it into one movie. They also burnt through most of the really good early Turtle comics in one go, but
yeah,
there's so little of the cartoon in this. It's the bandana colors, the love of pizza, April's a reporter, Cowabunga, dude.
Yeah, all the like phrases.
Yeah,
like the excellent and
just like Mikey's personality. Like that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Like this version of Raphael, night and day to the cartoon at the time.
Yeah, he's all angry and stuff. He's not a wise guy.
Like, watching this as a little kid at the time, I'm like, why is Raph so angry? Because he's supposed to be, damn it!
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's weird now that you bring that up. Like, I don't even remember as a kid, like, really thinking there was, like, a difference between, like, the movie version and, like, the cartoon. I just kind of, like, knew that they were separate things for some reason.
There was sort of a notion in my brain as a kid where it's like, why aren't the foot soldiers robots? Why is there no Krang? I'm like, well, it's a movie. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was. You didn't see stuff like that too often.
No.
Now it's just like, why didn't they do that?
You know, I'll say, like, the turtle suits look incredible in this movie still.
Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
Yeah.
They literally invented new technology for this movie.
That's right, because, like, all the motors and stuff to control, like, the eyes and the mouths and stuff.
It's brand new, and it's why he agreed to do it. They look great.
They look great, and, you know, to be honest, like, all the credit to the stunt people, because, you know, I don't know how much of their stunts are assisted, but, like, they can really move pretty well in those suits. You know, like, they're doing, like, flips and, like, back springs and
I'm sure
all
the
that
stunt
stuff.
suits were designed to be lighter than the hero suits that had to do all the talking and walking and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. They probably don't have all, like, the robotics and, the heads and stuff.
If you really, like, zero in on it, you can kind of tell that the stunt turtles are just, like, locked into faces or whatever, whereas, like, the main suits are all like, hey, how's it going? I can talk normally.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes every once in a while it's like that shell's a little squishy.
Yeah, true. It's weird. I guess like the brief story, but in some ways I'm like, dude, everybody knows what the Ninja Turtles are, right?
I mean, hell, with this movie, you just read the lyrics to the rap song. Crime wave is high, mugging's mysterious.
All police and detectives are furious.
Pretty much.
Because that's how the movie literally opens up. We just see massive crime wave in New York City because of ninjas.
It's kind of incredible that like the Shredder is like so menacing and like he's got his like henchman Tatsu, but then at the same time like his gang is just like a bunch of like pickpockets like and children.
He's a cult leader.
Yeah. And it's like hilarious because like Tatsu is like so like intimidating and the one kid bumps into him and Tatsu like looks at him and he's like, go play. Like
You get these little faces of Tatsu where he's just like, I can't believe this is what I'm doing.
yeah, I get the impression like a lot of times in the movie it's just like, okay, like so like Shredder is crazy and like Tatsu is just like, why are we doing this? This is like, why are we recruiting children? Why do you have this rat tied up in your basement? Like who is this rat? Why do you care?
Why don't you just kill it? It's a monster.
Yeah.
Kill the monster, bastard.
Or sell it to NYU University and like do experiments on him or something.
I have so many questions about this giant rat. Why don't you? It's perplexing.
I will say, like, even though the Ninja Turtles, this is like the original one where Splinter is like a rat that studied karate from his cage because of his master Yoshi. It's so stupid. I definitely prefer it when like Splinter's just like Yoshi instead.
I mean, it's a little cleaner in terms of his martial arts knowledge.
Yeah. But like the fact where he's just like, I was a pet rat.
In a cage.
In a cage.
Doing this.
Yeah. Studying karate. Like, I had human intelligence pretty much before the mutagen.
I was already a mutant rat before I became a mutant rat.
Yeah. Like, I love it still, but it is, like, hilarious when, like, Splinter's like, do you remember me? And, like, it's like the Shredder cut off his ear and stuff. And, like, the Shredder's like, I do remember you. You fucked up my face.
It's like, I'll kill you!
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I never think of, like, the Shredder being, like, a Doctor Doom type where he's just like, my beautiful face! How could you?
I mean, it was really only made up for this movie, but
Yeah.
it's popped up in, like, offshoots of it and whatnot.
That was in the 2012 cartoon, too.
Yeah.
Where his face was, like, messed up. But I love the Shredder. He's, like, so visually cool.
I think this might be the coolest looking Shredder.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of, like, the few we've gotten in live action. He
Yeah.
never looks better than in this movie, especially when we first fully see him. And that entrance is awesome.
Yeah.
And it scared me when I was a child.
He's scary. He has, like, a monster voice in this movie, too.
This is your family. I am your father.
Ah, the rat. Huh? So it has a name. It had a name.
I love that, like, he's, like, just, like, this guy, and he has, like, this armor, and, like, he has, like, Tatsu, like, just move his cape out of his way so you can see his, like, shoulder pads with even more spikes on them.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? There's more to that scene that's not in the final film where he like sits down and like the goons that got arrested at the beginning, because you'll know the one that's played by Sam Rockwell, he's in the beginning and he gets arrested, but then he's back with the foot later because they bailed him out.
Oh.
And it's like, we had to bail you out because we had to spend some of our money on that. This is your punishment. You have to try to fight me. And then he gets in a sitting position, and this is the only, we don't get the deleted footage. It's very brief of what we can actually see because there's not a lot out there. But he just sits there, and they all attack him, and he just wrecks them. It's really cool.
That's cool.
I almost wish it was in the movie.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say there was like a scene where Shredder just went like full Yakuza and started cutting people's fingers off.
Not that far, but I mean, there's a moment not too dissimilar to something like that later.
Okay.
Because some of the stuff you can get if you actually track down like the comic book adaptation, some of this stuff is in it.
Oh.
And in terms of like actually seeing it, like there's like 20 seconds of footage that you can find on YouTube just to see that. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of silly because he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool just watching him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they thought it was too silly because he was sitting. I don't know. But it's apparently like a real technique.
Huh, interesting.
But it also shows just like, this is how dangerous this guy is.
Yeah. I love the Shredder. I wish he was a little more fleshed out in this movie, but like, you know, whatever. The Shredder is an awesome bad guy. He's always visually cool looking. In fact, in most cases, Shredder looks awesome. They've never really like completely like ruined his look in most cases.
I can think of a couple.
Well, I can think of at least two, but...
I can think of three.
Oh, wow.
The coming out of their shells Shredder.
Oh, that doesn't count.
It exists, therefore it counts.
Okay.
And just not a fan of Robo Shredder.
Yeah, I don't like Robo Shredder either.
He somehow looks worse in the follow-up.
Yeah, yeah. But Shredder's cool, and he's an awesome bad guy. And, you know, the Turtles, like the Turtles to me, like these are the Turtles I always think of. Like, they're all what I expect. Like, I always think of Raphael being like angry, you know, I lost the side, but I can get it back. Like, you know, his trench coat and everything, where he's like, I'm going to see a movie. Like,
Yeah, he's in a bad mood because he lost his sigh.
Yeah.
And then he sees critters and he's in an even worse mood.
it is kind of funny how this movie is pretty Raphael-centric.
Yeah, it really is, especially in the beginning part.
Yeah.
Like, he really drives the story forward for a while. Like, he loses his sigh, that to go off in a huff where he meets Casey Jones, and then he goes after his sigh and ends up saving April, bringing her to them, and it lures the foot soldier there, which causes them to kidnap Splinter, and they go stay with April. He goes off in another huff, gets attacked by the foot, but he gets spotted by Casey Jones, who comes in and saves the other turtles.
Yeah.
He's the most important character in the movie.
Yeah, he is. You know, one interesting aspect is like Casey Jones in this movie, just because it's like the Turtles are like vigilantes, but like Casey Jones is like a unhinged vigilante that like is like beating the shit out of like people. Like the Turtles have like restraint. Like they beat like the one like, you know, purse thief Raphael, and then like Casey's just like, oh no, we're not done yet.
Now I'm gonna beat you with a baseball bat and hockey stick.
It's not done until somebody goes to the hospital. Like,
see, he stopped you from doing it. I'm stopping you from doing it again.
yeah. It's all those great lines with like he has the bats and like Raphael's just like, tell me you didn't pay money for this Jose Canseco bat. Then he takes out the cricket bat, which is just like nobody knows what cricket is.
You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
I love that line. So good.
He takes a shot right to the face.
Yeah. Yeah, with the weird cricket paddle. But yeah, you know, Casey Jones, like, for me, this was like, you know, Casey Jones was like something that wasn't in the cartoon, and I was just
Not
like,
really, no.
I was like,
A handful of episodes at
Yeah.
best.
yeah, it's weird because like, you know, I don't have any memories not knowing Ninja Turtles without Casey Jones. But like,
Probably
I'm
because of
sure
the
when I
movie.
was like really little though, I was like, who's this hockey guy?
I'm sure I just accepted it. And I
Yeah.
was just probably wondering. And you know, when he showed up, when I did see him in the cartoon, it's like, hey, it's Casey.
Yeah.
But it is weird that in that original cartoon, this main supporting character of the Turtles he pops in a couple times and that's it.
Yeah.
And he's like the most psychotic Casey Jones in that version.
Yeah, pretty much. Lawbreaker.
He never even takes his mask off.
No. He's like, because it's my face.
I mean, there's an episode where he goes like undercover and he's wearing like a business suit and he's got the hockey mask on still.
Ah, you gotta love that. It's the best. Yeah, like all the turtle stuff, you know, Michelangelo ordering the pizza and then like waiting for it and he's just like 3 minutes late.
Dominoes.
You know what's I'm fine with that, but the one thing that always
I
like
guess they can only afford so much.
yeah. The one thing that's always weird though is not even like that they order Domino's if they're in like New York, you know, you can get like way better pizza.
Yes.
So that's kind of weird. But the fact that like the guy turns like the pizza box sideways and
pizza's
slides it
ruined.
into like the sewer,
Yeah,
I'm just like, he just opens the box and the pizza's fine, but it all should be like smushed into like one side of the box.
Yes.
I'm like, what's up with that?
Gravity-defying pizza.
Yeah. I mean, I always like the scene where like, you know, Leonardo throws the pizza up in the air and like cuts it with the swords. As a child, I wanted to imitate that so badly. And my parents, I'm sure, had to stop me.
Can't explain. That's not possible.
Pretty sure I had like a Ninja Turtle themed birthday party and I wanted to do that with the pizza.
It's like, no, because that pizza's going to land on more than my head, son.
Yeah. Or at least I wanted to like take my toy sword and cut the pizza with it.
It just wouldn't have worked.
No, definitely not. But yeah, you know, I love seeing like the turtles like do little things in the sewer, like the skateboard briefly. You know, I would say though, you know, Donnie and Mikey don't really have that much screen time.
Their role in this movie is they're just those two guys. They kind of comment on things, and they're just the comic relief.
It's a Kodak moment.
Hey, Donnie! Looks like this one's suffering from shell shock.
Too derivative.
Donatello's whole thing is being the smart one, and there's really nothing for him to do with that in this story.
They kind of had a situation where he could be when he's like helping Casey fix the truck, but he's not even the one fixing the truck.
And he's just sitting in the thing,
Cracking
throwing
jokes.
Yeah.
The dome head. L flips.
I mean, the only implication I get towards maybe Donatello knows what he's doing is that they got this like cracked television that's somehow working, and they have like lights and stuff. And I'm like, in my mind, Donatello did that.
Yeah,
He, you know,
he's good with machines.
yeah. I mean, it's based off the early comics, and there just wasn't much for him to do, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah. Leonardo, you know, he probably gets the second most screen time out of the Turtles, but
He
even
gets
that-
a mini arc where he's just like, the hell with you, Raph! Oh no, Raph!
Yeah. It seems like a little more one-sided. It's just like it's more like Raph being an asshole and like Leonardo just being like, "Hey, like I'm not doing anything. You're just mad at me for no reason."
Yeah, but he's also said, go away, we don't need you.
Yeah, that's true.
He gets angry right back at Raph, and he
Yeah.
regrets it.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's sitting there while Raph is just in a coma.
Yeah. Yeah, just in that bathtub. They escape. It's funny that April is like also a reporter and has the antique store.
Yeah.
And she even has like the yellow coat at the beginning of the movie because it's like cartoon show.
Reference.
Yeah. Channel 6.
Well, in the comics, the antique store was always there, but she had like a different job. She was like a scientist. She worked for Baxter.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
the antique store was just like a little thing that existed,
Yeah.
which is more or less what it is here,
Yeah. You know, like the farmhouse scene,
which was a ripped off for Avengers Age of Ultron. I said it!
it was, wasn't it?
It was!
Jesus Christ.
Joss Whedon's a hack.
Yeah. Man.
Literally, I still remember sitting there in 2015 being like, I've seen this before.
It'd be amazing if there was a scene where they were chopping wood. But I guess not.
No, but still, the idea is still kind of the same.
Yeah.
And it all comes from the original comics, where in the comics it was Shredder getting revenge instead of like part of their first encounter. And it's also been adapted a whole bunch across like the 2003 cartoon, the 2012 cartoon, where
Yeah.
one of the turtles, usually Leonardo, in this case it's Raphael, gets ambushed, thrown through a window. April's apartment gets burnt down, and they have to retreat to a farmhouse. And it's usually in Northampton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And, you know, Casey Jones shows up and helps out too, and they hide up there for a while. Sometimes April has a journal.
Yeah. Yeah, she does her little drawings of all the turtles.
Except Mikey.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Mikey just gets forgotten about.
Well,
like,
you know what? They filmed it, they just cut it. You can see some remains of it because during a couple montages we see Mikey hitting a heavy bag in the barn.
yeah.
The idea, and it's in the comic too, I believe, where he lost his sense of humor for a little while, and he's just angry, and like he punches the punching bag, breaks that, so starts like breaking things.
Huh.
And
Okay.
apparently, the scene later on, when after Raph is awake and things are getting a little better, and he walks into the room, and Casey and April are like, "You need ointment?" And he's like, "Nah, turtle wax." It's like that's the first joke he's supposed to have made the entire time they've been there, and that's supposed to be, Mikey's getting better.
There you go.
It's like he's calming down. He's
Yeah.
getting less vengeful. Hell, apparently, if you look closely, the shot of Raph screaming on the roof, it's Mikey.
Really?
He's got nunchucks.
Oh, man.
They just put in Raph's voice instead.
Wow. That's pretty funny.
Because I guess that was still supposed to be Mikey's angry.
Man, damn.
But they just, I don't know if it was cut for time or whatever, but it's just kind of not there. Like, you can see the skeletal remains of it,
Yeah.
but it's just not there. There's more character stuff that was cut from the Farmhouse time. Like and I remember this from like the storybook versions when I was a kid, where after like they talked to Splinter's Force Ghost, they have like a little training scene where like Leo turns his bandana sideways and like tells his brothers, "All right, come at me," and he like kicks their asses blindfolded.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the scene where they like meditate and talk to Splinter.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
It's very emotional. One of the kind of story threads is Splinter being like, "Look, I'm probably gonna die soon," because I don't know if you noticed, but
I'm old as fuck.
I'm so old. I was a rat. We lived for like 3 years or whatever. So I don't know how long I got. I could have 10 years. I could die tomorrow. Be ready.
Yeah.
I've been alive for 15 years like this. I don't know how much longer I can go.
I live in a sewer and eat garbage every day.
This is not good. This is not healthy. I don't have a doctor. I can't go to a doctor. My arm hurts. My leg hurts. I don't know if you notice this. I don't walk. You don't see me walk. It's not because I'm a puppet.
That is true. Just like sitting in his chair all
Yeah,
the
I mean,
time.
Splinter is probably the most limited of any of the characters in these movies, where he's just, you see him stand there, and anytime you see him move, he's a puppet.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, full body Splinter walking.
Yeah.
Hell, by the time you get to the third movie, there's no full body. He's just a puppet.
Nice.
He's behind a wall all the time and everything. It's so glaring.
Well, he spends most of the movie just like either sitting down or being chained up.
Yeah, because Shredder's a psycho.
Yeah. Shredder is a psycho. He's just like, I'm mad at you, but I don't know why.
There was something familiar about the way your turtle people fought.
Yeah.
Why do they fight like the Foot?
Yeah.
What is happening? It's like Shredder's like having like a mental breakdown, which I guess solidifies when he finds out that Splinter's the rat that disfigured him.
Yeah.
No wonder he went insane at the end and just like charged at him. He's like, I knew it!
Yeah. Yeah, the final like fight is a little underwhelming, but you know, these movies you can't really expect that much.
I mean, I still enjoyed most of the fighting.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun in places.
I mean, it does what it has to do. Turtles on a rooftop fighting ninjas. You know,
Exactly.
That's like the main thing.
Yeah, in the sewers, whatever.
Yeah.
We get some solid action throughout. Like, I always love the part when Raph finally got his side back, slowly pulls it up, and then he just runs in there and just kicks the crap out of all the foot soldiers.
Yeah.
I always like that.
It's fun. Man, I don't really know what else to say about this movie. Like, there's that plot with, like, you know, April's boss and his son, who, like, is, like, you know...
Target demographic representation.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm the point of view character. I'm a
Well,
pickpocket.
not really. I'm just there because kids might relate to me.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he doesn't overstay his welcome. He's in there just enough to get the character beats and add to the story when needed.
Yeah.
He's there so Splinter can info dump the Oroku Saki story and to get Casey Jones in the same room to beat up Tatsu.
Yeah. Pretty much.
He's
the one that, like...
He's a plot device that's got some characterization.
Yeah, he really is a plot device because he's the one that tells them, like, the turtles live in the sewers and stuff.
He's like, no, he tells them that the turtles are at April's.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
A random foot soldier found them in the sewer. He found them at April's.
That's
and
right.
he has that picture that makes Shredder go, they're back! Swarm! Go! Ninjas! Army!
One thing that's weird
Vengeance.
when, speaking of foot soldiers, watching this movie, like, you know, in high definition, it's, like, weird when it's like, oh, I can see the foot soldier's eyes. It's, like, weird.
Yeah,
It's,
well,
like, never noticed it before, but, like, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, whoa.
and like, I don't know if I've always kind of noticed it, like, from like a long time. I don't know if I noticed it when it was a VHS, but you can kind of see Shredder's mouth sometimes, and it's kind of
Yeah.
funny, because, like, you don't always see it, but when you do it, it's kind of perfectly, where it's just like,
You lie!
Do I?
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's always creepy when you see his mouth.
Yeah, definitely. It's even creepier when you see the turtles' mouths.
Or the mouth within the mouth.
Yeah. You're like, oh, God.
Ah, did Donatello eat somebody?
He ate a man. Power his terrible turtle monster heart.
Speaking of the man in the turtle suits, Donatello's stunt performer is the guy that went on to play Kino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they liked him and they put him in the sequel as a
Nice.
character.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, he's a
I
bit-
know. Most of the suit turtle actors, like the main ones, not like the stunt actors, also appear throughout the movie.
Okay.
Like the guy who did most of Raph's performance, not the stunt stuff, and who also did Raph's voice. He's the passenger in the cab scene.
Oh, wow.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat. You're gonna look wild here, right?
Just love that. It's so perfect.
Yeah, it's like that's how it goes.
It's like, why didn't anybody notice there was 4-foot turtle ninjas in New York? It's New York. Nobody cared.
There's alligators in
It's
the
like,
sewer.
I don't know if you noticed, but they did notice. They just didn't care.
Yeah. People got their own stuff they're dealing with.
Someone was like, man, there was a giant turtle in my screenings of Critters. Oh, really? Yeah, movie sucked. It's like, what about the giant turtle? He was fine. Smelled a little weird, though.
Smelled like sewer. Man.
There's a weird homeless turtle man in my movie theater last night. He smelled like pizza.
It is funny that like Raph just has like the trench coat and the hat, and he doesn't even have like a scarf or anything.
No.
It's just like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I don't know, man. 1990 New York. You know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I can kind of go with it. It's just kind of a fun joke where it's like, yeah, it's New York. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, is that a turtle? I don't care. I'm busy. I got to go.
Yeah,
It's traffic. I got to go.
it's fine.
I can't. Just whatever. Fucking turtles.
But yeah, you know, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it.
It's, to this day, still the best Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah,
I mean, stupid parents complained about the violence, so we got Secret of the Ooze.
and it's not even that violent, honestly.
I mean, I guess it's jarring if you're comparing it to the cartoon.
Yeah, I
which
guess that's true.
it is.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Because, like, you got teenagers getting indoctrinated into a Foot Clan. Tatsu beats the crap out of one of them, who, by the way, was originally dead.
Oh, jeez.
If you watch that scene and you just ignore the part where you don't see anyone say it, but you hear somebody say, "You're going to be all right, cough, cough, you're going to be okay." But everyone looks very upset because that kid was supposed to be dead.
Oh my God.
Tatsu was supposed to have killed that guy, but then they were like, this might be too far. So they just ADR'd some dialogue, and it's like, you're going to be all right, you're going to be all right. But you know, he lifts the mask up and they cut away. But if you just like pause it, you just like see a guy who's got, that guy is dead.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
He was supposed to be dead.
Tatsu's like, help him up. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. I thought, like, you know, this was one of those ninja clans where they just, like, kill you for failing.
I mean,
But it is.
yeah. Because, like, you can see, like, the look of, like, on the one that took the mask off. That's the look of somebody who was told, your friend was just killed by this man.
Yeah.
Like, that's the performance that the actor is giving. Obviously, I understand why they changed it. It still works fine in the moment where just Tatsu just abusing this kid for no reason. It's not his fault that the 4-foot turtles with more ninjutsu experience beat them in a fight.
Yeah.
And then also a psycho with a hockey stick showed up. Who can plan for that? A psycho with a hockey stick showed up.
Man. It's like, man, he must be a Canadian gangster or something.
I mean, the actor is Canadian.
Oh, wow. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. What are the odds of that?
Man. Yeah, I guess, like, the movie had, like, a little bit more of a harder edge, but then they edited it. They could have gone even further by having, like, oh, now you're a Foot Clan member. Here's our training video, and it's, like, Shredder and Tatsu just like, so you've become a Foot Clan soldier. Here are some things you must remember.
Oh, man. You know, even though it's like there's definitely a more serious version of this movie, there's also at least one scene that's not in the final one that I'm like, that's a little silly. I'm glad they cut that. Where I don't know if it was intended as like this was the original ending or if like this was like a post-credits joke or something.
Okay.
Where it's April and the kid are in the office of a comic book publisher and he's looking at April's drawings and he's like, I mean, these are good drawings, but it's the idea for a comic. I think this is just a little too far-fetched. And behind them, out this giant window, the 4 turtles that pop up. And when he says far-fetched, the turtle's like, what? And we see Michelangelo just fall. and April and Danny just start laughing. And then it just cuts to outside, and Michelangelo kind of pulls himself up, kind of looks at the camera and goes like, far-fetched? it's kind of funny, but we don't need this.
Yeah. I guess that's like too like fourth wall breaky,
Yeah.
especially for this movie.
Yeah, where Raphael was beaten into a coma.
Yeah.
It doesn't even gel with the version of the movie that exists,
Yeah, definitely not.
which is still probably the most serious Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah,
Maybe.
for sure. I mean, there's that animated one they did in like 2007,
It's not that serious.
Yeah.
Though. It's silly in places.
but this is definitely the best one. It's the best Turtles movie they've ever made.
It spread a lie in its ending rap song that Raphael is the leader.
I guess it did, huh?
I was actually wondering about this before, and I have a theory as to how that happened.
Okay.
So you would think that they would just tell them, okay, oh yeah, Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, blah, blah, blah. Or, have any kind of passing familiarity. My theory is that whoever wrote the lyrics to that song asked his kid, which of the Ninja Turtles is the leader? And that kid was one of those kids that, like, my favorite should be the leader. And he was just like, Raphael's the leader, Dad.
Yeah.
And that's what I think happened. It's probably not. Somebody just didn't care. But I like to think that could be what could have happened.
Either that or the guy who made the song had no idea about the Ninja Turtles. They're like, here's a rough cut of the movie. And then he's like, okay, I guess the red one's the leader. All right.
Even though he yells at Leonardo about his leadership.
Well, it was a rough cut.
Yeah, I guess that scene wasn't.
Yeah.
They hadn't finished that dialogue yet.
Yeah. He's like, okay,
Oh, so that's the
Kevin.
plan from you, huh, Leo?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see you coming up with anything, Mr. Leader. It's like, oh yeah, Raphael's the leader.
It's like, got it.
Done.
But, yeah. Ninja Turtles. Great movie. Go see it. Podcast over, I guess.
Where did they come up with this stuff?
Hey, can you hold that for a sec?
Yeah, sure. What for?
Fingerprints.
Just got out of prison.